Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Unplugged. It's the three amigos again. It's me, Chris Brack, Kev O'Sullivan, and it's Luke Tanner. How we doing, gents?
Not too bad. Been a bit of a week, hasn't it?
It's been one hell of a day.
It's been fun, hasn't it? It has.
If you've been interested in that kind of thing.
It has. It has. A lot of people are getting very, very excited about things, but we'll go into that in a minute. So, bit of housekeeping first. So, before we start, we're going to do betmate because we're all crap at it. We're horrendous at it. So, we'll try again. Eh? Let's do that first. I say we'll do the betmate first, and then we will do a bit of Mo Salah chat. But just to pre-warn everybody, when we start the Mo Salah chat, I'm putting a 15-minute timer on. Once the timer goes off, that's it. Mo Salah chat done. It's been done to death. And do you know what? There's lots of other weeks to talk about it. And then we'll go into a bit more sports. Bit of footy, bit of cricket, bit of UFC.
Yep.
And all joys of that. So, guys, betmate. Let's try and get good at this. We're rubbish at this.
So how did Kendall do?
Not very well. I can't actually remember what we did now. Let me just check on my app.
Yeah,
Bear
in
with me.
fairness. I was looking at
35th we came.
There was a lot in that pot though.
Out of 66. So we finished on 50 points and the winners got 69. But there was only 3 winners this time. They only did that pot was only a top 3.
Yeah.
Most are a top 5. So, it was tough, that one. But we're going to do Brighton versus Liverpool. So I'm going to get into this now.
Yeah.
So we'll have a bit of fun with the chat now as well. Laura Duffy, where did we finish in yesterday? 32nd, Laura. So hence why we haven't been shouting about it.
Trust me, when we get into money, it will be bells and all. Guaranteed.
Oh, it'd be a whole £10 win.
It'll be the bells and whistles.
Absolutely.
We'd have put 100 quid in to win a tenner back. Come on. Everyone's a winner. Right. So I forgot we had Mendy a goal. Yeah, Mendy gave away. When Mendy conceded the penalty and got booked, wasn't the best.
Yeah, Muppet.
And
he had other things in his mind this week, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll
get into that as well.
We'll get into that as well. So, Kev, I gave you a team for this. Can you remember it?
No.
Shall we go? Shall I reel off what I thought for a team I gave you, and we'll go
on
arguments from there. So I had Ali in goal. I had Robbo and Trent
as your defenders. Okay.
Yeah. Basuma. Now we did have Fabinho, but there's a debate whether he'll play. We'll come back to him. And then up front, Salah and Mane I went for. Diaz was very close. And then the bench was a load of Brighton players. Lamptey, I think I had Lamptey, Lallana, Trossard because his record against us is good, and the goalie, which I think is Sanchez.
Sanchez, yeah.
Yeah, Sanchez.
Oh, look, me mates in the chat. Big up, Callum. Callum will be on the show next week, so we can have some fun where Callum will learn from Luke how to talk about UFC properly, and we'll be all sorted. So
we'll be taking notes.
Exactly, yeah. Just remember, Callum, Ngannou never forgets. Anyway, that's me getting a WhatsApp in a minute of abuse.
I'll be honest, right? If you were going to look at someone in midfield, I'd nearly go with Naby.
Okay.
I'd nearly go with Naby over Fabinho.
I think the debate with Fabinho is if he'll play, which because he looked leggy the last couple of games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, he's barely stopped. He has barely stopped all season. So,
and I don't know if Mo starts.
Yeah, there was that thought.
I don't think it's anything to do with today. I just think that when you look at the volume of games that we've played over the last 3 weeks, and the intensity of some of those games, and the importance of some of those games, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few changes tomorrow that will raise some eyebrows, especially with it being a Saturday lunchtime kickoff.
Yeah,
I expect a few changes. But look, I'm happy enough with sticking that in. Who's the Brighton player you're starting with?
Basuma. I know we didn't start the last game, but Basuma's a bit like Kante.
He just always plays.
He's brilliant. He's brilliant, especially against us. So we go Alisson, Trent, Robbo, Basuma, Keita, Mane, and you want to do Diaz instead of Salah?
I'm about to say Diaz, yeah, because I think I saw a thing saying that he's set to start tomorrow.
Yeah, I nearly would.
And then the bench is going to be Sanchez. I've just thought for defender. What about Cucurella? Because we know he definitely starts.
Yeah, that's a good.
Like
and
it.
he's a good. He's a good player.
But is he? You'd have to check and see if he's a defender or a midfielder in game.
He's down as a defender. Trossard is down as a midfielder, which is the interesting one.
Yeah, have Trossard
you
as well.
Put Trossard in, and then there's one more. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 then. And then or can we get one more? Or can we put Salah on the? Oh no, we can't put Salah on. The other option then is Danny Welbeck or Mopay, really.
Mopay.
Yeah.
Okay. And who do you want to captain? Name the chat. We are going to do Salah talk. We're just doing the team first, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, I nearly captain Mane and vice captain Trent.
Yeah,
captain Mane.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And vice captain Trent. Okay, cool. So this all works. I'll take all the glory. If this doesn't work, it's your two. Your two faults.
You ain't this
sounds right. Yeah,
I got proof.
It's not like these are recorded. No one will ever know.
Oh no.
Lads on the chat.
No. The internet never remembers. You're fine. Nothing like this ever comes back to bite you in the ass. Right. Okay.
Laura asked, "Can you read the team again?"
So Laura, I've just turned it off. Right, hang on. Right, team. Alisson in goal, Trent and Robbo at the back, Keita and Basuma in the middle, Mane and Diaz up front, and then the four substitutes are Sanchez, Cucurella, Trossard, and Mopay. So, that should be an interesting one.
That could be. I mean, the thing is, it's early kickoff as well, so God knows what.
And this one, Mo Salah starts now, and Diaz does it. Be like, fucking hell.
Definitely blame me for that.
Look, all of this kicked off today with a question in Klopp's press conference.
Oh wait, hang on. Before we start, let me get the timer ready.
Get the timer.
You thought I was kidding. I ain't kidding about this. Right, off you go.
Right.
So when that goes off, we're done.
This all kicked off today with because I was sat at home and I was waiting. I was playing FIFA and waiting for the press conference to start. Started away, and it sounded like the usual Salah question, and Klopp batted it back with the usual Salah answer. You know, talks are ongoing. The club have made an offer. Yada yada yada. I didn't pick up on anything else, and it wasn't until I listened to Gav's show at 2:00 that I thought, "What the hell is blowing up?" Because I've been off social media for hours, and to be honest, with everything that's been going on social media all day, forget about the Mo Salah stuff. I'm on about the Ukraine situation, and my timeline is just full of it. Yeah, it was, and I just decided I needed a break from social media. Come on, listen to Gav at 2:00 and thought, what the hell's gone on here? Went back on social media and I just took one look and I thought, nah, sod this. This is just pie in the sky stuff again. We're back to where we were in December. A week ago, everyone was delighted with the squad. We were happy as pig and shit. We were through. We won the League Cup. You know, we're still competing in all 4 competitions. Everything's right as rain. And then one question in one press conference blows the social media up and blows up podcasts left, right, and center. Like, come on. I mean, has anything new that we didn't know before been said today?
I'll give my take on it in a minute.
What do you think, Luke?
Luke, what's your take on it?
I think the press conference was nothing new, really. I think the thing that sparked my attention was his agent's tweet with him tweeting laughing faces. And it was like, oh no. Because he loves trolling on Twitter. He loves the pictures, the emojis. And I thought when he sent the laughing faces, I thought it's one of 2 things. One, the contract's been signed and he's just trolling everyone. Or it's laughing because the contract offer is laughable in his eyes. And he's got no interest in getting Salah to sign it. And they're trying to force the club's hand by basically leaking it to arguably the most well-known transfer guy on Twitter, who's actually his mate.
A blogger. who's actually a blagger.
Who says,
But
look,
somebody's phoned by
not going to
somebody's,
sign. He doesn't look
somebody's
like
phoned by
he's
the
going to
mic.
sign.
If somebody's phoned by the mic, just move it away slightly. I know it's not mine. Mine's over there. So.
Here's mine.
Oh,
me.
God. Smack your hand later, Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
Luke, carry on.
I just think that because I think with the Romano thing, like it's his mate. So of course, when it says exclusive, it's no, the agent's hopped on the phone to you and just said your side of the story. But the thing is, we don't know as fans what's the contract offer that's being put on the table. We don't know how far apart either party is.
I'll give my take at it. Listen, this is just my opinion. If you don't agree with it, sound. If you want to get wound up by it, sound. That's your prerogative. I'm really bored of Salah chat, to be honest. So for me, the update is no update. Is according to Klopp, Liverpool have offered a contract which they think is a fair contract. They just done a laughy face, which means they've not denied it, they've not accepted it, which is kind of where we are. The Romano exclusive that came out, which was, he says, talk broke down in December. Well, that came out in January. So that's not an exclusive. We all knew that. Mo Salah wants to stay. We all know that. But Mo Salah only wants to stay if he is paid what he thinks he's worth. Well, we know that. Liverpool ideally don't want to break their wage structure, which is someone paying excessively more than anybody else. Common sense will make you guess that. And then the last line was, which leaked to the Mirror, which was, if we can't get a deal with Liverpool, he'll happily play for another Premier League side. Well, we could guess that, but if you think Liverpool are going to let him go in a free to another Premier League side, you're kidding yourself. If he doesn't sign a contract by pre-season, they'll sell him. So I'm a bit like, everything that said there was A, common sense, or B, we already kind of knew. So I'm a bit like, until
I think it's because it came out
until
of
Paul
his
Joyce,
mouth.
yeah, until Paul Joyce
gone,
or someone reliable, not Romano, someone reliable comes out and says Mo Salah's handed in A transfer request, or B has rejected all Liverpool's offers and wants to leave on a free and wants to leave at the end of his contract, then it's a big talking subject. Then it happens. Or Paul Joyce tweets saying Mo Salah's agreed a new 3-year contract. That's it. But at the moment, it's all assumptions.
Look,
Kevin De Bruyne is on 400 grand a week. We think he should be on that, which to us, I can see the argument for that, because if you're one of the best players in the league, in the world, that's what they're on. If Mo Salah's asked at 800 grand a week, then Liverpool are never going to pay that. And people saying don't be greedy, Mo. You can say that, but it's all relative. It's all relative to sport. And this is not you or me. And people say you can live comfortably with 250 grand. You can. But in the world we're in, he is the best paid player. Go look at basketball. You think football wages are mad? Look at basketball wages. It is the hundreds of millions players get paid in basketball. But that's relative to the sport, because actually basketball makes billions, and that's all relative. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So I think people get a bit too precious on. He's on 250. I don't care what a player's on, to be honest, because it's not my money. And B, as long as the club can afford it, that's it. So it's what Kevin De Bruyne is on 260 a week. He's definitely not, because he came back.
No,
a new contract.
No. He's negotiating a deal.
They said his new deal he's on 400. Ronaldo's on
550.
But again, Ronaldo is been one of the top 2 players in the world. I can't expect him to be on big money. Mo Salah's in that thing. People say it affects morale in the team, which is more important. We don't know it affects morale in the team, because it's not like they're all looking going, oh, he's rubbish. They're all looking going, he's brilliant. And actually, he does the one thing which is the key thing in football, which is scores goals. And he's the best goal scorer we have by some distance. But at the end of the day...
Yeah. The things that are kind of annoying me is the people online slagging his agent as if his agent is a rogue operator working on his own. He's not. Mo Salah is his employer. So when his agent talks, he's talking on behalf of Mo Salah. Now, if Mo Salah doesn't like what his agent is saying, he's got 2 choices. He can fire him or tell him to shut up. One or the two. And if neither happens, then Mo Salah is talking through his agent. Now, people can like it or lump it, but he's been at the club for a few years. He's been brilliant for the club. He's a world-class talent, arguably in the top 3 players in the world this season with Lewandowski and Benzema. Yeah. And you can toss a coin between the 3 of them as to how good each of them are. They're all brilliant in their own ways. If he decides to run his contract down and go for nothing, there is nothing we can do about it. If he decides to stay and sign, great. If he decides that he wants ridiculous money, the club will have a choice. But every which way, there is absolutely no point and nothing to be gained by fans ripping into each other on social media as if our opinions on this matter in any way, shape, or form. They don't. FSG will want to keep him. He is a commercial asset as well as a world-class talent. And he will be very difficult to replace. But you know what? We've replaced them before.
It's just how long. I think the only counter argument to that is it's how long it takes you to replace and get better.
Trust this setup.
I get that, but there's the same setup that didn't replace Suarez very well. Now it's grown in knowledge since. Well, it's still not. Michael Edwards was still there, and people. Yeah,
Klopp
Michael Edwards was
manager though.
Yeah, but ultimately, the manager has so much say. The club has a lot more say than I think people believe.
Yes, but Chris, the difference is this time we're in a much stronger position as a club. When Suarez left, I could actually understand him going because of where the club was, and I could understand.
Which is what makes the Salah a bit more galling if he does go, because you're going. We don't quite, it's not like we were 4th, 5th. Just scraping by, the club's doing very well this year, and in the last 5 years has done very well.
For me, to be fair, I could understand Raheem Sterling looking at Liverpool and looking at Man City at that time and thinking, do you know what? Yeah, I mean, he went about it all wrong, but I could understand it. It made sense. But look at
some breaking news. Some breaking news. City have agreed a deal to land Haaland this summer.
And where is that coming from?
By Craig Hope and Jack Gallagher. They write for the Daily North East football correspondent. Just said that City have basically agreed a deal for him. I think people in the chat have already said it, but he looks like he's heading
that'll be really interesting.
Because now Real Madrid are going to go, oh dear. No, we wanted them as well.
But I think Real Madrid will do what the option they always had was to keep Benzema.
Yeah, get Mbappe, keep Benzema. Or if they're willing to buy Haaland, which was 75 million,
and go, hey Mo.
Well, yeah, that does make a question. It's because the other thing is,
I don't think they're looking for a wide forward.
No, they've got to get rid of
genuinely
one.
Yeah, depends where they want to play him. Curtis Jake saying surely deserves a decent wage increase. He's earned
it. Not on peanuts. Mo Salah is the 4th or 5th richest. I think he's definitely in the top 10 highest paid footballers in world football
because of his bonus. Because
I think his contract is on at the minute of like 25 million a year.
It is.
Plus endorsements.
I agree. He does deserve a pay increase because I mean. I'm saving that one. We'll bring that up in a minute because I need more than the time to have fun with that. So let's do the Mo chat and then we'll come back to winding down.
I think
it's just what that jump is. There's still a part of me that goes, it's not money. I think it's money to a point because this question's come up twice now. Club ambition, and Klopp said we've done all we can. Now the Diaz deal. It was happening. I think that was happening in the summer anyway. He got brought forward because Spurs kicked us on. I wonder if Salah's asked a question, and I think all players asked in the negotiation, what's the challenge going forward? Is it more Diaz, Canati type players, which is high level, pretty much ready for first team, kicking us on? Or is it lots of Fabio Carvalho, which is not to disparage the lad, but he's a kid, he's 19, and Harvey Elliott, who's 18. Is it a load of young kids who in 2-3 years time will be ready? Because if that's the case, I can see a Mo Salah saying, I don't want to wait 2-3 years for these kids to get good. I want to be ready now. So what's the balance? And look, the club could lie and say, we're going for Haaland, we're going for Mbappe, we're going to get this guy, we're going to get that guy. Sign the contract, Mo, and we go, oh, no, we're not. Obviously they could do that. But I think all clubs seek assurances. I mean, I'm sure Van Dijk, Henderson, Fabinho, when they all signed their new contracts and got pay increases, they must have asked, what's the plan going forward? And surely you're going to try and keep Mo, aren't you?
But they'd have talked to the player as well. The players talk to each other. I said this about a year ago when I first come on one of these pods. I remember saying it, that the likes of Alisson Virgil, all these guys, Fabinho, when they all committed the best years of their career to Liverpool, they would have done so on the understanding after discussion, after talking to Mo, privately. So, are you extending? And then they went on and signed their contracts. So, according to Laura Duffy's put up there, according to Forbes, Mo is the 5th highest paid player in the world.
Wow.
So there's your FSG have no ambition talk down the toilet because
I suppose any question. I honestly believe the thing with Salah is, and I wonder if the deal is more going to be
length.
Not even length. I think he's on I think he's on a 200 grand a week basic, and there'll be bonus structures. And I bet he's never earned 200 grand because probably all the goal bonuses, win bonuses, trophy bonuses, he's probably earned a lot of money. Fair play to him, deserves it. I wonder if he's saying I want to start at the 350 mark, and then Liverpool are trying to get the bonuses down, so it still evens out. You just want more of a guarantee up front of your basic, which, to be honest, it's not the worst thing to suggest.
I think it's more down to contract length. More than likely, the club probably want to offer him 3 with an option of 1. He may want 4 with an
option of 5.
Well, to us, if it's 4 with an option of 5, that was the only thing, I'd say give him the 4 with the option of 5, because the nice possible way in 3 years time, in 2 years time, 3 years time, you can sell him. It's not like in 2-3 years time people are going to go, oh, no one wants Mo Salah. He'll even with 2 years in his contract, in 2 years time, he'll go for big money.
Yeah.
So
it will work out in the fullness of time. It's not something for
I can't get stressed over something that's not really happened yet. Nothing concrete. So I think until that happens, I think all the talk, both sides, the slag. I mean, I've seen loads of slagging off of Mo saying he's greedy or he's age to do this. Let's see what happens. We don't know. Actually, no one knows what he's asking for. We don't know.
That's the thing in a nutshell.
That's the assumption. Everyone's
assuming
he's asking for this, and FSG won't give him this, or FSG have offered him this, and he wants this. No one knows what he's asking for until we know that. We don't know. And that's the end of done. Right, Mo chat done. Right, there we go. We're gonna go 15-minute chat on that.
Yeah, apparently that Haaland deal in the summer is going to cost City around £100 million altogether, with agent fees, wages,
paying his dad.
But my mate said that it's the Daily Mail aren't usually reliable. But
no, but I mean, if he wasn't, that's what I think. If you did have that buyout clause and someone said City have done a deal for around just over 100 million, including wages, you'd all go.
It's not including wages.
No, it's not including wages. So
that's what I mean.
So if they're saying 100 million with the wages,
you're going to be talking a deal. Probably over the length of his contract, I would imagine a deal is going to be pushing 300 million.
Right, because it said plus the signing on bonuses and agent fees.
Yeah. But Callum has put up Neto and Haaland in the same week. He's in the mud. Look, the Pedro Neto one, I could understand.
You better hope Leeds get relegated now, because Rafinha's going to be half price.
I couldn't care less about Rafinha.
I don't want him either.
But even then, his attitude's been stinking up the place, so I'd rather stay clear.
Pedro Neto, after the horrific injuries that he's had, he's going to need a year to rebuild his career. Best do that at Wolves, and I think Wolves will probably look to sell him after that.
Yeah,
but and he'll probably look for a move after that. But it was always going to be a huge risk, no matter what happens with Pedro Neto. Now, I hope for the kid that he comes back for Wolves and has a really good, solid season next year, and then who knows. But
bless. Ask the flags in the chat. Mo wants to come to Arsenal. Bless. I thought he wanted to win things. Obviously not.
Nah.
Yeah.
Only joking. Only joking.
If Mo does go, I'd take Saka, because that would annoy our Arsenal fans.
I wouldn't.
Just go, hey.
I like Saka. They're not the same player. Football. I like Saka, but he's not the same. I actually think Saka's long-term career should be a centre mid. I think that's where you could see him. I think he'd be brilliant as a centre mid. Basically, probably what we thought Chamberlain was going to be.
Yeah.
Before the injuries.
Look,
so anyway,
I mean,
should we do a bit of UFC chat? Because completely move away from football.
Let's have a bit of football break. We'll come back to the Premier League in a bit.
Oh, we've got UFC expert, haven't we? So
yeah, tomorrow night, UFC Fight Night.
Yes, Fight Night. It will be at their facilities at the Apex. It's a light heavyweight main event between former UFC title challenger Thiago Santos and Russian fighter Ankalaev, who's 16-1 at the moment. It's going to be an interesting one because I feel like that either Thiago Santos has come off of like, I think he's lost 3 out of his last 5 fights. So I think it's going to be really crucial for him to get back on the winning streak. I think he's in his late 30s, but I do think he's going to lose again because I think Ankalaev is going to be the future champ at light heavyweight eventually, because since John Jones has left, it's sort of been nicknamed the hot potato division because that belt is going to hop around between so many different fighters because there's no singular standout fighter that that's going to hold the belt for a significant time like John Jones. So I am expecting Ankalaev to win. I don't think I will get a title shot on the back of it because there's other matchups that have been cancelled but rescheduled. I think there's one at light heavyweight, Jan Blachowicz versus Rakic, that's been rearranged for sometime later this year. So that division's very interesting, but I do expect Ankalaev to get the job done. Whether or not
it's a bit of an early start tomorrow. It's a bit of an early start tomorrow night as well. So I think it's 10 p.m. the prelim start. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure the clocks go back in the States this weekend. So
there's some other good fights on the card as well. I think the co-main event at bantamweight, Marlon Moraes, he's had an absolute torrid time. He's lost his last 3, all been finished in his last 3. I think the last fight he won was a fight he shouldn't have won when Jose Aldo fought at bantamweight for the first time. Many people thought that he lost, and then lost before that. So if you think about it, he's lost like 5 in a row. So he really needs to win, but he's fighting one of the youngest fighters in the division called Song Yadong, which is such
name rings a bell.
Which is such a
it's a standout name.
Yeah, it's a standout name. He's only 24.
I've heard
him like 23 fights. I think he started his pro career at 16, which is incredible. The fact that he's had this amount of fights, but I do expect Song Yadong to win and climb up the rankings. I think Marlon Moraes is going to be very lucky if he's going to still be in the UFC, because the UFC have cut fighters for having runs like 5-1 in your last 6, like losing 5 in your last 6. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does get cut. A couple of other fights on the card at lightweight: Drew Dober versus Terence McKinney. Terence McKinney, I think he's been in the UFC 4 fights, 4 first-round finishes. His total octagon time has been less than 1 round for 4 fights. So, and against the guy who's teetering on the top 15, which will be a great fight, but I do expect Terence McKinney to win. And then there is, to open the main card, will be Alex Pereira versus Bruno Silva, 2 Brazilian knockout artists. Both fought on, they both last fought on the same card late last year. Alex Pereira, former kickboxer, fought Israel Adesanya, current UFC middleweight champion, knocked him out twice in kickboxing, and he wants another shot at him. He's been saying like he's scared and stuff. He does want to fight him, but since they last fought, Israel Adesanya's won. He's won 13-1 in UFC, and he's only had like 4 MMA fights since then. So
Callum's going for Marlon win. Yadong gets hit a lot.
Yes, he does get hit a lot. But I just my worry with Marlon is how is he going to mentally get himself back on? He's been finished 3 times in a row. Yes, of course. When you look at the opposition, they have practically been at the top of the card. Lost to Derek Philly, Rob Font, Corey Sanhagen. I think Sanhagen just fought for the belt. Rob Font's just lost to Jose Aldo. So let's see if he's ready to ascend for that belt again.
So who you going for, Luke?
Song Yadong's going to win. I think he's
okay. Well, I'll back you. I'll back you then.
Right. I wanted to ask you quickly. UFC London is coming up next weekend.
Yes.
There's
big chat about that next week,
Potential,
won't
there's potential big problems with Russian fighters on that card.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything, or
Well,
that card
apparently
looks
they
subject to
wanted
massive
to try
change?
and get Volkov in the UK early, but 'cause I think the UFC wanted to get him in London early to avoid these issues. Obviously, he said no. However, I think they've got options available, but they'd have to break up because they've got a couple of heavyweight fights booked around the same time, which against fighters that are all ranked near each other. So unless the UFC plan on breaking certain fights up to put in with Aspinall, I imagine if that was a major problem, I would imagine something would have been done by now, because you're not going to get someone to come in at super late notice.
Yeah. Well, there was
I
one
know
other
it's been
thing.
done before, but nothing's been said about.
Well, there was
Apparently, it should be
a Japanese fighter, Sato, was coming in as a late replacement for a fight at welterweight on the card.
Yes, against Gunnar Nelson.
Yeah.
As well. I think there's been a couple of visa issues. I don't think it's got anything to do with the conflict in Ukraine.
Okay.
But yeah, the Volkov one, that's still in doubt, but I think he'll still fight. He's going to get a horrible reception in London.
He will, because of who he's fighting anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, but we'll definitely get into that next week. The only thing I wanted to ask you, Paddy dropped a big hint this week that he's desperate to fight at Anfield. How likely is that?
I think
it
could be likely. I think it could be likely, especially if he keeps on rising the way he is. He's got another big fight coming up at UFC London, but I do think if he does become champ, which I think he could do, and Anfield's finished that stand, you could see it happening. Especially because I think Conor McGregor said that he'd be open to fighting him at some point at Anfield. I think Darren Till's expressed the fact that he's wanted to fight at Anfield as well. So I think it could happen.
Molly will be on the card as well.
Molly will be on the card as an Evertonian.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter depending on who she's fighting.
I'd go to that one.
Yeah, I think it could happen. I think it could happen. Dana's a smart man. He knows that if the Paddy train goes the way he's hoping to,
it's a great thing to latch on.
No other option. Could you imagine over 60,000 Scousers in Anfield cheering Paddy? That would be.
Oh, I'd love it.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
incredible. Well, look, there's lots coming up in the UFC, especially over the next few weeks. But we'll definitely cover London in a lot more detail next week. The one thing I wanted to quickly touch on was Chelsea. The news tonight that Chelsea's bank.
It's about 3 breaking news since then as well.
Yeah, well, the one I saw early was that their bank accounts have been suspended by Barclays, and that they have about 60. Chelsea apparently are spent. It costs £1 million a week to run Chelsea Football Club, between wages, putting on matches, and all the staff wages and everything else that has to come out of that. Yeah, they have about £16 million available to them at the minute.
Yeah, there's an article, I think it's the Telegraph, I think it was, and they were saying the sanctions that are at the moment, so it's £20,000 for travel.
Yeah.
And what they're saying is it costs them more than that just to travel to Norwich.
Yeah.
Which sounds excessive, which sounds like a big thing with security and with the type of travel. So they said they couldn't fly, the way to get to Lille would be expensive. So
they literally flew to Norwich. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But most flights are not. But most clubs fly to Norwich. Most clubs get the train.
London, man. It's not.
I know, but still, you try to get a quick direct train. Plus, also, it's the turnover time and stuff like that. So that's one. Apparently, it costs $800,000 to $1 million to run Stamford Bridge on a match day. Yeah. So what they're trying to say is
they've been allowed $500,000 for that.
Yeah. So and what they're saying is they need to be allowed to sell tickets, because they're saying if they sell tickets to punters or to away fans, that's not going into Rowan Bradford's pocket. That is going into the simplistic running of the club. I think this is the argument that Barclays is saying is a lot of the accounts are technically in Roman's name because he owns the club. So technically, banks aren't allowed to deal with him which means that fact. I think, but the talk I've read today is Chelsea are with the government at the moment doing an appeal about that, but also apparently Roman Abramovich has also said he's I can't remember the Brexit router.
Something from the Athletic was put
they
saying
said,
the government's given the
he said
green light.
he's agreed to sell the club, so it's whether the government will agree for this bank.
Well, that was a big stumbling block in my mind because there's no upside in any of this for him from here on out. It doesn't matter to him anymore whether the club rots and mothballs or it's sold. He's getting nothing out of it either way anymore. He's never going to be able to live in the UK again. He's never going to be able to attend Chelsea ever again in his lifetime. So I wasn't convinced, and I'm still not convinced that he is going to be willing to let the club go.
No.
Ultimately, it's up to him.
It's got to go one of two ways. Either he lets the club go, and a massive loss, and it would be a massive loss to him personally.
It doesn't matter. It's a complete loss to him.
Yeah. Or he digs his heels in.
Ego as well. Could you imagine his ego?
Or he digs his heels in and goes, sod you, until I get my money.
Well, let's see how much he loves the club, because if he loves the club that much, he will let it go. But
I'll be honest, I love Liverpool, but if Liverpool cost me if I lost £1.5 billion to Liverpool, I'll be honest, that you would get tested. But, well, it's not chump change, is it? You're £1.5 billion. That's a lot of money, even to an oligarch. You're not going to notice £1.5 billion missing out your pocket.
Yeah.
So
look, it's going to be one to watch, but I think it's going to be an evolving story. Look, the government aren't going to be the ones who see Chelsea mothball, but at the same time, they're not going to politically be able to be seen to give Chelsea a soft ride and therefore give Abramovich a soft ride. It's toxic. They want nothing to do with it. The last thing any state or any government wants to do is be running a football club. But at the same time, look.
But as someone said, Bury went into liquidation for a lot less. A lot less.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is not me saying I wish it on Chelsea. I'm just saying, different rules. Barry Devery points out Chelsea own the stadium, but they don't own the pitch. That's correct. It was signed a long time ago that the pitch is owned by the fans, which is why Chelsea couldn't move to Battersea. So the reason being is you can't build on that pitch because it's owned by the fans. So basically, so Chelsea could stay where they are. So it's the one way the fans keep control of the club because they're going, you can do what you want to the club, but you can't move it. Which, in a way, it's quite a smart move. If you didn't want Liverpool to move out of Anfield, if the fans own the pitch, you can't move it.
Right, let me just lay this one to bed right now because Tarek has put it up there saying that he will get his loans repaid. Tarek, I'm telling you this for a fact. If you want to find out how sanctions work, James O'Brien on LBC this week did about a 20-minute interview, and I'm sure he's podcasted it since, with a sanctions lawyer. And he explained exactly what sanctions mean to businesses. This is not a joke. This is not a tap on the hands and Roman will sort you out when all of this is done. The way sanctions work are draconian. You look at what the Football League are doing to Derby and what they did with the points deductions. That's nothing compared to what happens when a government sanctions a business. Roman Abramovich is allowed to keep his house because of the property laws in the UK. Roman Abramovich is not allowed to pay his electric bill without a license because he cannot access money, because nobody can do business with him in the UK, full stop. He doesn't get paid cash in hand. It's as draconian a punishment as a government can levy on an individual. This is what people have to understand. This is where, and the other problem is the Premier League have opened themselves up to this because they've accepted money from states that have dubious issues out there and oligarchs with dodgy connections. They've taken the Queen's shilling and now it's come home to roost. This is the only way states, as Laura said, sanctions are intended to hurt. It's super serious. They are dead right. He may be a snake. Abramovich can be the biggest scumbag on the planet, and you think that he could funnel his money out. The reason why he did what he did with the Chelsea Trust to try to offload it is because he knew this was coming, and he couldn't do it. The government was blackmailed and bullied into it by a Labour MP from Wales to put Roman Abramovich on the sanctions list, and they had to be dragged kicking and screaming to do it. But they did it, and now that he's on there, it's a global sanction.
Yeah.
It's a global sanction that will be enforced. And it's the same with an American company, and the American government sanctioned people when they were dealing with Iran. It's the same. The EU sanctioned a business because they were dealing with Russia. Britain has issues, but when they lay down a sanction, it is serious. And Chelsea fans singing Abramovich's name during an applause for Ukraine is not winning them any favors.
Sorry, just in Callum's comment.
What's that? Sorry. The question is, we all want the answer to is between Coppish, Daytrippers, and Let's Talk, who gets Chelsea's Roman house and his yacht? He's already given it to me.
Hey, I'll take the yacht, Cal. I'll take the yacht. You can get Chelsea, so you can just go Chelsea.
But look,
Chelsea.
I needed to get that out of my system because it's been bugging me all week.
The thing I would say is, and look, this is not a dig aimed at any. It's clubs have to worry. Fans don't have to worry about this. If you do a deal now with an oligarch state, it's a thing to keep in mind is what happens when it goes wrong. Because I don't feel there are safeguards in place. I think Chelsea now, without saying for Chelsea, there aren't really safeguards in place for if the oligarch has to leave or is forced to leave, whatever the reason being is. Like I do wonder I heard it was on another podcast, Qatar at PSG. Qatar got the World Cup next. I've got the World Cup, which is probably what they wanted. They want their nation to have the World Cup. All eyes on Qatar. Nothing wrong with that. Once they've had the World Cup and it goes, are they still interested in football as much? Do they then go to PSG? I don't need to.
We don't know.
And that could play out in a different way. So, but listen, we can all act whiter than white, as we all do. But let's be honest, no one questioned when Hicks and Gillette took over. I certainly didn't. I saw Fernando Torres going and Ryan Babel and thinking, Javier Mascherano, thinking, bloody hell, we've got a good side here. And then you soon see when the crack starts forming. Then that's when some dug in a lot sooner, and some, look, I'll admit, saw it really late when, Christ, these guys really don't actually have what they promised us. So we can all paint things in a certain way, but it's going to be an interesting thing to watch though, because it's
guys.
Very,
let's
very
get
serious.
into the Premier League.
I know one saw it coming. But let's go to Premier League. Right, the big game of the weekend: Brentford versus Burnley. I'm not joking. I'm generally not joking. This is one of the big games of the weekend.
It is a huge game.
6-pointer in the relegation battle.
6-pointer, because I actually think, touch wood, I think Brentford beating Norwich is probably enough for them.
Yeah.
I think they're picking enough up now to say.
Confidence.
I think if Burnley get a draw or a win, that is massive.
Yeah.
Because the other thing with Burnley is, apart from getting slapped by Chelsea, I mean, look, but to be fair, Chelsea can do that to a lot of lower half sides, so there's no shame in that. They just seem to have something about them, Burnley, sort of going, this when Burnley gets serious, if you know what I mean, and go, we'll just kick on. Now, I know Everton have got games in hand. We'll come to Everton, but I saw before Everton have won 2 games in the last 19. So it's a bit like, if you're chasing top 4, you're chasing that title or games in hand, you can feel confident because you're going, well, we're on a winning run. We should be able to do that. Yeah. When you've won 2 games in 19, you're going, yeah, great. I've got 2 extra games, but if you can't see where your next win's coming from, they're a bit irrelevant. So I've gone for a 2-1 Burnley.
I went for 1-1 because I think Brentford will be on a bit of a high after their win in the week, and if Ivan Toney can get a bit of a tune, then he's enough to give any side problems. Again, if they can give Weghorst the service that he needs, he can. It's one of those. It's a toss of a coin, but it's a huge guy. I think Burnley would have targeted this. They'd have looked at this game as thinking we have to come away with something, and they're experienced. So, but I guess the thing Kendall was saying it the other night, and she was dead right, that Burnley are very good at this time of the year at just knocking out a couple of wins. And you can imagine 2 wins at this time of the season could really put them into a really strong position at the bottom in the chase to stay up. But I'd say 1-1. Luke, how do you got it?
I think I'll go with a 1-1, the same as you. I think for me, the last relegation spot is between 2 teams. and one of them is in Burnley. I think it's between Leeds and Everton, because both of them are sinking quickly. I watched the Leeds versus Villa game the other night. I thought I thought Leeds were really bad. I thought they were so bad. It was like Bielsa was still there. We're playing Dan James up front, Rodrigo in behind. It just didn't make sense to me. So yeah, I think a draw for Burnley will be a massive result. I think with Brentford, with Ericsson in the side, I think
first
that
start at
could
home
be
as well.
Yeah, I think that could be the difference for Brentford between them staying up is having Christian Eriksen fit.
Very astute bit of business that.
I think the one thing that helps Leeds is I think they've got a few more games where you can go, they might win that. So Norwich, we'll come to Norwich in a minute, is a potential winnable game. I think they've got Watford away, and I think they've got Brentford away as well. They're probably 3 games where you go in, on paper, they've got a good chance to win them. When we go through Everton's fixtures a bit later, it's not a nice fixture list. So
yeah, there's only 3 games tomorrow.
We'll come to ours in a minute. The big one.
Yeah, the tea time kickoff tomorrow night, United and Spurs. Now, this is a huge game.
Yeah.
In the context of top 4, it's absolutely massive. And Manchester United have been on a good run, bar the City game. They've been on a good run. And Spurs are so hot and cold, you just don't know what you're going to get with them. So, I mean, I think there's goals in this. I think both sides are going to go for it. But if Spurs sit in and try to play United on the break and draw them on, Spurs are ripping to shreds. I think Spurs win 3-2, but it could be anything. It really could. I can't see United getting a win, but they need to get something out of this game because they're in danger of players revolt, dressing room splits. I think they're already there, to be honest. But if they have any ambition of getting top 4, this is a game they have to match at least what Spurs do or try to get a win. But I can't see it personally. I think Spurs get a win.
Okay, well, Luke, what are you going for?
I think this game's going to be quite interesting, actually, because I think the key for either side is to let the other one have the ball. Because with Spurs can't break down low blocks, they really struggle with low blocks. Look at the Burnley game. They were poor. They were better against City because they just soaked up the pressure and then hit them on the counter. And United have been struggling creating and scoring goals when they're forced to go and attack a low block. So it could be either a really open game because both teams definitely need to win, or it's going to be a really dull game because neither team wants to have the majority of the ball and have the responsibility to break the other team down. So I think I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I just don't think it's going to be that entertaining. Yeah. I think the fact that it's a must win for either team. Yeah, it's a must win, but Spurs have got a pattern of win, bad result, win, bad result. So I think a draw makes sense. And plus United can't be as bad as they were against City. But who knows? It's United.
Or better. Yeah. See, I think Spurs have probably been in slightly better form than United, but they're probably not defending the way the manager wants. I still think that the kettle in his head with the way they defend, especially against slightly better sides. But the problem with this is Tottenham, United, Arsenal to a certain extent, Leicester. I just don't think you can trust any of them to do anything. I fancy Arsenal or Tottenham to get a bit more of a run going than United. So I've gone for a 2-2 because, quite frankly, I think both are not great at the back. Both have got proven goal scorers on the day. But, I think, it's a good game for the neutral because I think it'll just either be, like you said, entertaining or be an absolute car crash to watch. Either way, you'll be fixated on what they do.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be one of those games everyone's going to want to watch it. But
next one, let's go to Sunday games next. Chelsea-Newcastle. Now, the appeal that Chelsea have got in place isn't going to get done before then. So
no,
this is going to be only season ticket holders and no away fans. So it's almost a behind closed doors game, which you would. Does that help Chelsea? Does that hinder Chelsea? I mean, Newcastle are in good form. I don't think they've lost. I think Kendall said they haven't lost a game in 2022.
They've won 6 of their last 7.
So
they're second in the form table in the league. Good win away to Southampton.
Yeah,
not an easy place to go, and Southampton were doing okay. So, but they made changes during the week. I don't know what the story is with Joe Linton. He wasn't there and he was missed in midfield. Look, I think that this has galvanized Chelsea in a big way. I think it will have galvanized the players to give it one last push, because they know that come the end of the season, that side is being broken up, irrespective of whether they're bought or sold or whatever happens. That side is being broken up, and I think it's galvanized.
There's at least 3 out. There's 3 out the door, isn't there, in the summer, which is Rudiger, Christensen, and Aspilicueta. They're all end of contract.
That new deal yet? Was he signed that new 1 year extension?
I think he did. He did. Going back a couple of weeks ago.
All right, okay. Because that could be awful if all of them left in the same window.
Yeah. My heart would have broke for him.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Yeah, I could tell. I mean, Thiago's the key to that defence. So,
yeah.
So, what have you gone for, Kev?
I went for 3-1. I think that Newcastle have beaten sides that they should be beating, with the amount of money they've spent in January, the quality of players they brought in, and the fact that they stumbled on a formation and a system that works. But this is their first test against a proper side in a while, and I think that Chelsea will school them. I honestly think it'll be a comfortable day for Chelsea.
I've got 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0.
Chelsea at home are normally pretty good against the bottom half sides. I think they only drop points to Burnley, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 3-0. I think I'm going to go 3-0 with Chelsea. I think I saw a thing on Twitter that Mason Mount's most of his goal contributions have come against Norwich. So I do expect them to put in another decent game against Newcastle. And Kai Havertz up front, I think he's got 8 goal involvements in his last 8 games. So I think him in that number 9 role, especially him up against Dan Burn, I think he could pull him out into very uncomfortable positions up front.
Yeah, Reclaim's asking no away fans at Chelsea. Yeah, it's part of the sanctions that are on Chelsea.
So does that mean if Chelsea get to the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool, Liverpool could have 80,000 fans?
Potentially, yeah. Because the only people that are allowed to attend a Chelsea home game are season ticket holders. They are not allowed to sell any tickets to anyone other than a season ticket holder, because they've already got the money secured for that. And they can only sell merchandise via a third party. So like Sports Direct or JJB or something like that. But so it's whether that's an advantage or...
We'll find. I don't know if it's on TV because it's a 2 p.m. kickoff. But
tickets already sold still stand, Chris. If they do, great. But
yes, I think for this game only is if there was advanced tickets sold, then there would be for it would have only been for this game.
Because the article
in hospitality as well. If you had hospitality,
the articles in the Telegraph were saying no away fans. So unless this game's been the exception, but yeah,
I would know. I think the one for the away fans is going to stand, because the match tickets for Newcastle away fans wouldn't have gone on sale until either the sanctions had gone down, or maybe, we don't know. We'll see. But I know going forward that the restrictions on Chelsea will bite, and they'll bite fast.
It's on Sky Sports, apparently, Kev, as well.
Is it? Oh, cool. Good.
Cool,
It will be a good watch. I'll say that. It will be a good watch.
Leeds versus Norwich. This is a 6-pointer. Now, to be honest, it's a 6-pointer for Leeds. In a nice way, I think even if Norwich win, I don't think it matters. I can't see Norwich staying up. I think our friend of the show, Joe, said, "Listen, lads, if you're not beating Norwich, you don't deserve to stay up. This is the game that's going to beat." The only worry for them is that it's another injury with Firpo off, so they're going to have to swap Dallas over to left back.
So to be honest, that might not be a bad thing, because
Firpo's crap. But then they're going to have to move Ayling from centre back to right back. And to be fair to Ayling's been played pretty well actually as centre back. I think he's been one of their better players. So
I think he's not
if he can't be
a centre back.
Yeah, cheers, Elias. Big up new subscriber here. Thanks very much, guys. If you could like, comment, and like and subscribe as well while you're in, it'd be really helpful to us. Forgot to mention it earlier.
Oh yeah, I was told for not doing that.
55 minutes in, we're bad people.
That's right. Cool. Barry's saying he believes it's the next 2 games Chelsea are allowed away fans, and then that's when it stops.
We'll see. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Cheers, Barry.
This one, both of these teams will go down. Okay. Hopefully not.
Flip of a coin, I think, between Leeds and Everton, to be honest. I think whichever team can stop the rot first will stay up.
Actually, I think perhaps the both just keep losing at the end of the season and Leeds stay up.
You have to be beating Norwich if you have ambition of staying up.
Yeah,
I think Joe Wyman was spot on.
Beat Norwich.
I've got 2-1 Leeds, a nervy 2-1, but I think Leeds will win it because it's at home 2-1.
I went 1-1 purely and simply because I don't think Norwich have anything left to lose, and
got a 2-0 Norwich here.
No, trouble Lake has gone 2-0 Norwich. I just think Leeds are struggling scoring goals.
Yes.
It's simple as that. Once they went 1-0 down, and it was a fluky first goal that Villa scored. It was a deflection and in, but it was the heads went, and I think they're really soft and they're just mentally weak and physically drained. It's not a good combination, and the quick turnaround against for both sides. I don't think Norwich play at the intensity that Leeds do, and I think the Leeds fans will be if they're not doing anything in the first 25 minutes, then I think Ellen Road could get really feisty, you know, and they have to win for their survival chances. But I've got it down for a 1-1.
What have you got, Luke?
I think it's going to be 2-2, to be honest. I think Leeds are so open at the back. I think even Norwich will get a couple against them. The thing with Leeds is the quicker Jesse Marsh realises that Dan James is not a centre-forward, I think the better, to be honest, because the fact that he has still persisted with him through the middle shows he hasn't been watching Leeds this season because he's not a centre-forward. He should trust the youngster Joe Geldhart, who's actually looked pretty good every time I've seen him come off the bench. But yeah, I think it'll be 2-2, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. And next one, Southampton against Watford. Southampton, who obviously lost at home to
Newcastle. Yeah,
Newcastle. I think they've actually lost the last 2, haven't they? Southampton since beating, because I think they beat West Ham in the cup, and I think they've lost the last 2. So
yeah, lost to Villa.
I've got them winning this one though. I think
you would think so because Watford are dreadful.
Yeah, I've gone down for 3-0 because I think Watford are actually going to start to go for it, and I think that's going to be their undoing. Yeah, they've got no choice. The idea that Hodgson can get them to sit in and defend in a shape and play on the counter is fine if you start the season at Watford and you drill it and drill it.
Or they brought him in instead of Ranieri.
Yeah,
give him time. I'm not a big Hodgson fan, but
he can drill shape.
He was under hiding to nothing with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think there's no say. I mean, the question really is will Hodgson see out the season?
No, because it's Watford. He'll be sacked.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wonder what the record is for most managers in one season. Oh wait, for Laura's.
I reckon they've absolutely smashed it to death. Look, I've got 3-0.
I think it is 3. I think the record's 3.
Yeah, it probably is.
Wouldn't surprise you, would it?
Probably done it by Watford.
I've got 3-1 Southampton. What have you got, Luke?
I've got 3-0 Southampton. No Ismail Assar for Watford, which I think is massive. He's been injured for.
Jonathan says Raffle will be in charge of Watford next week. Do you know what? The way the season's gone.
Probably, yeah.
Laura Duffy, Watford have had 4 managers the last time they went.
They're going for the record. They're breaking their own record. Yeah, I think the goals have dried up for Watford. I think Dennis's goals has dried up. Sarr's injured. Leaky as anything at the back. I think Ben Foster needs to politely retire and focus on his YouTube career.
I actually think Foster's done all right, actually.
He got lobbed 2 yards off his line against Wolves.
But also, He's probably facing like 30 shots a game. It feels like
Yeah.
it's so...
He's still not making the most saves in the league. That's still David.
No,
De Gea's
that's
trophy.
Dav De Gea, and Sarr, I think, actually is third.
Yeah.
From Wolves, who are you want to also right. We'll rattle through these two quickly, because then we'll talk about the two main games we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So West Ham Villa, I've gone for a 2-2.
I went 2-1 Villa. I think the West Ham game in Seville
Mm.
will have taken it out of their legs.
What have you gone for, Luke?
I'm going 3-1 Villa, I think.
3-1 Villa. Okay, doke. Arsenal Leicester, I've gone 2-1 Arsenal.
3-1.
I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0. Fair enough.
Vardy's injured and he always scores against Arsenal, so
Yeah. And then Monday Night Football. We don't normally do Monday Night Football, but it's a big game as well. Palace at home to
Man City.
Man City. Just put Callum here. Foster could be our bum third keeper eyes emoji. Yes, for those who don't know, me and Callum do talk about what we're going to do with the squad. And he always asks me, who do you want your third choice goal? Because Adrian's going in the summer. And my response is always, whatever bum you can find, because I don't get excited by third choice keeps. I'm like, I don't really care. He'll probably never play. So I actually said, my Jogee line always back is whatever bum you can find. So actually, Jaws, he'd do Foster because he'd be the English quota. He'd actually be a bit of an English diddle. So anyway, back to this Palace City. So I've got 3-1 Palace, 5-0 Palace, 3-0 Palace. There was a lot of confidence. A few said City's bogey side. Now they are City's bogey side, but strangely, it's at the Etihad.
yes,
Palace has not a bad record at the Etihad. At home, they're a slightly different story. But then again, he has got them playing quite well. And
yes.
the only thing I would say is Everton work City hard and we're unlucky not to get a draw. Palace are much better than Everton.
Palace have got that little bit of quality going forward, which
they do, which City don't like to play against. You know, especially with the organisation of Diaz, that might be a handy thing. But then again, City could just do what they always do, which is just turn up City 2-0 lol, and then we all go away. Because that's what City do. So, Kev, how are you seeing this?
I've got this 3-1 City.
I
just
killing
think
me,
that,
Kev.
I'm sorry, I just
that big build up. That was.
I just think that Man City have got the bit between their teeth, and all of the talk has been about Liverpool over the last few weeks. How we've been on a good run and what have you. They are a top tier side, and as much as we like to find, to hope against hope that they're going to drop points, it would be a shock of epic.
This is probably like the only other team left that you can think, yes, you can do it. You can take a point off. This is probably like the last team left.
Just back to manager. Ashley Els has just put Palmeiro had 9 managers in 2015-16, so Watford have got some way to go.
What the hell were they doing? Giving it to the players?
9 managers? That's mental. 9 managers.
No, I just think that Man City will love this. Some of the players, the likes of Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, they're going to thrive off this. The fact that they're in a fight and they'll want to keep momentum going. I would be shocked if they drop points between now and the end of the season. Even us going there, we're far from favourites going to the Etihad and beat them. I think we're capable. I think we can, but there's not too many seeds when they've got the bit between their teeth. There's not too many teams in this league that can live with them. And if Palace are on it on the night and Zaha has one of those nights and Elise is on it, and the Palace back four stands up to it and holds their shape and are disciplined, then you never know on the break. But I would be shocked. As much as I'd love to say otherwise, I just I wouldn't be putting any of my hard-earned money on.
I'm not betting, man.
You're being compared to James Pearce here, Kev.
Yeah, James Pearce can't afford my pay cut.
Bad news, Kev. Luke, what are you going for?
I'm going 2-1 Palace. I've got to believe that. Just after all that talk from Kev, I'm just going to go 2-1 Palace.
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I think... I don't know. I think it's more hope rather than expectation. But I do think the pressure, if Liverpool win, then I just don't know the pressure is going to be on Pep. I know Pep's got a couple of games where he will overthink it. I just don't know whether or not this could be one of the games where
Normally the
he
Champions
just takes
League,
his eye off the ball a little bit and just thinks a little bit further ahead.
I think that is likely to happen when they get into the next round of the Champions League. Because that's when the high-intensity Champions League games come thick and fast.
And that's also when he's got Liverpool game in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So we've got 3-1 from Kev. We've got 2-1 from Luke. I'll go 1-1, Egg. So between the three of us, one of us is right.
We're covering all the bases.
Right. Listen, I'll be quite content with a draw. You know, I'll be well made up with a draw. The key is, and we'll come on to we'll segue on to our game. So almost like I know what I'm doing a little bit here. We play before City. It's very rare this happens. All we can do is, and I say all we can do, beat Brighton, get the gap to 3 points, just make them reply. That's all Liverpool could do now is just keep winning, keep the gap between 3 points, especially get to the Etihad. Just make them work for it. What last thing we want to do is drop points to Brighton, and then they have a shitter against Palace. You're going, they've lost to Palace. And we go, it doesn't matter though because we didn't hold up our end. Yeah. Brighton's going to be hard though. We haven't won our last 3 games against Brighton. I think it's 2 draws and a loss.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, one of them was when we did our run of 6 home defeats in a row, which was horrific. Form-wise, we're getting the wins into the side. Probably not the performances we would like, but we're not giving up as many chances, I think, as people believe. The perception probably isn't as bad as people think. And
I saw something recently. In our last 6 league games, I think we've scored 19 and conceded 2.
Wow.
So, it's not the worst form, is it?
Brighton are a good side.
Well, Brighton in the last 6 games have won 1, drawn 1, lost 4, scored 4, conceded 10.
Yeah, but we've been there before with sides. Brighton,
we have.
When they play your normal everyday sides, don't play the same way as when they play Liverpool or Man City. They play a different way when they're playing us, and they're different. That's why it's hard to judge sides on their form going into a game against us, because they play differently. They all play differently.
Well, we saw how Brighton lost 2-1 at home, I think, to City.
Yeah.
And they really worked City. Now, I don't know if it's a good thing or not that the 4 defeats in coming into us, because either they're going to have to go for it at home because they want to actually put on a show, which could play into our hands, or I do think this is a game where Liverpool need to score early, really put the doubts in Brighton.
Because then we did it last time.
But when we went 2-0 last time, Brighton were in good form, and we also had the midfield of Henderson, Keita, Chamberlain, and I've said for a long time, I don't think Keita and Chamberlain in the same midfield works. I think it leaves us defensively too wide open.
And Chamberlain in the same midfield works because when they've started, we've not won. Look at West Ham away.
Yeah, but again, I think you need to have 2 of Henderson, Thiago, or Fabinho. As long as those 2 are okay.
Thiago, is he out or?
Well, we don't know. I mean, there was pictures apparently. Konate, Van Dijk, and Thiago weren't shown in training. Klopp said there's no injuries. Now, Klopp's quote was, "COVID hasn't gone away, and we've had." Now the phrase was, and we still had it. But the key was had it. We will know later. So I don't know whether people have had it and they're going and they're just doing double checks, or they've been near some symptoms. Now, Konate didn't play because he was ill.
Week.
Ill / they said a niggle. But, Joe Matip missed the game last week with an illness. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's Thiago. I mean, Thiago, if he gets it, he's probably the most unluckiest man around because he'll have had it 3 times since he's been at Liverpool, which is really unlucky.
Yeah.
What
would you guys' 11 be tomorrow?
I don't know. It depends on.
Are we basing it on these 3 lads being out?
Well, if you're basing it on what we think at the minute.
I don't. So,
Bial's
my gut feeling is Van Dijk's fit. So that's my gut feeling.
Yeah. I think we might see the return of, if Van Dijk's fit, then I think we'll see the return of the Joe Gomez partnership with Virgil van Dijk, to be honest, because there's been stories of him looking like that he's hoping Liverpool will let him go in the summer because he wants to play at the World Cup. So I think he does get a rare start tomorrow, I think, with Trent and Robertson. I thought maybe Féileacáin might start because he's not really had many games, but the FA Cup's next week, so he's probably going to play in that. I'll probably go the same midfield that Kevin Ball's put: Fabinho, Anderson, Naby Keita, and then and then the same front line. Maybe Salah on the bench because he needs a rest. But if you put Salah on the bench, is everyone going to go, "Oh, it's because of the what"? But yeah,
we all know they will.
Yeah, of course.
I have a feeling Bobby starts. I think he's been training all week, so at some point you're going to want to know, is he ready or isn't he?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be. I've got Alisson, Trent, Matip, Gomez, Robertson, Fabinho, Hendo, Naby, Salah, Bobby, and Sadio.
Okay. I've got slightly different, but okay.
Yeah. But I mean, if that was the 11, I'd be happy enough. That should be enough to get a win away to Brighton. As former irrelevant, Brighton are a good side, but they're missing a few key players.
Missing Webster, I think. I think I saw Webster was
Webster's out.
Probably going to be a back three of Veltman, Duncan, Duffy.
Yeah, it doesn't have the most pace around it.
They'll be good in the air. They'll be dangerous from set pieces. Shea Duffy is brilliant from corners. Lallana is available. It's just up front. I've always said it with Brighton. They're a good striker away from being a very good side.
Yeah.
And you saw it when Mopé went on his hot streak earlier in the season. When he was getting goals, they were racking wins. But without a front man that you can depend on, that you can hang your hat on, they will concede. They do concede chances and they do concede goals. So I fancy us to get a win tomorrow.
Could we see Elliott maybe? Could we see Elliott start or
no? I think my gut feeling is Elliott's getting a bit of the Foden treatment. Not saying the same player. Give him a few games back, because he's come back from such a bad injury. I would have Klopp got a bit excited because of how well he did in his first game back. And after a couple of games, I think especially the Inter game, they went, do you know what? I need to hold him back. This is not quite. He's still coming back from his ankle injury, and I think he just needs reining in a little bit. I think defensively, I think he's still been found a bit wanted. I've noticed now when he plays on the right hand side, Trent, who everyone says question defense, like goes very defensive, and you don't see Trent bomb on because he knows the cover isn't there behind him for the way Liverpool want to play, and it makes Liverpool very lopsided. And I think that is a bit of a killer for us. Whereas to be fair, when Henson plays there, Keita plays there, Curtis Jones when they play there, they do full. It is more of a fluid diamond formation that sort of works. So I've gone with Alisson, Trent, Matip, Robbo. I go for Van Dijk if he's fit. If he hasn't got, and then if it Canate, then if they both got COVID, then it'd be Gomez. And I've seen the talk. Gomez wants to move and he wants to play. Listen, I wouldn't be selling Joe unless he says he wants to go. But the thing I would say is, we've seen from season to season, it can flick like that on a coin very, very quickly. You don't want to be Joe Gomez does something doing to Peter Crouch. And Peter Crouch opening minutes is where he left Liverpool, said, I'm never going to get a game at the moment. And then half through the next season he goes, Torres was out most of the season going, shit, I'd have been playing every week. And I'd have made an impact. And that could happen because, listen, touch wood, Matip's fitness has been a lot better than we thought this year. Canate not really showing a wiggle. But it might come at a point where Matip gets injured pre-season, which is what happened. Joe Gomez gets his chance, and then that's it. Gomez is in, and he's done. And then Matip's got to sit on the bench for 6 months.
Yeah. Look, Joe Matip, player of the month for February.
Awesome player. Love Joe Matip.
Absolutely on the bromance with Joe Matip. Love the guy. But they gave him the player of the month is voted for by FIFA players. Mm-hmm. And he has the most useless FIFA card on the planet.
I've got his FIFA card. I've got it.
Did you do his 86 version?
No.
Yeah, that's what he's new one is an 86, and he's as slow as a wet week.
But his normal card's quite good, actually.
Yeah.
I use it regularly.
I'm just amazed that you got a FIFA community who know this card is going to be absolutely useless, and he was voted for left, right, and centre because he was player of the month, and he's had a phenomenal February with the run that we've had, the goal and the assist, the runs, his passing. He's come on. He's improved again. He's kicked on again in February, and you look at the stats he's got for the season, the amount of games he's playing, the consistency he's showing in his game at 30 years of age. You know, the best thing in the world to happen to him was the injury that he had last time, because it gave him time to get properly straightened out and get his issues, and literally get his injury problems put to bed once and for all. And you hope that for the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to see one of the best centre-backs in Europe in Joel Matip. And he'll be a cult hero by the time he leaves Liverpool. He already is. Yeah. But the way he plays, he's not going to age you. His body, the way his game, the way he plays football is one of those players that can go on and on and on, because he doesn't depend on his pace. He depends on his ability to read what's going on around him, and he's very good at it.
He's probably one of the best at being dropped in cold. I've seen in a long time. Most players. I'll be honest, the other one who's getting very close to that is actually Ibu. Because he's been dropped in Old Trafford, take him out, dropped in Milan away, comes out, and you go like, and to be fair, his levels are pretty consistent. I think the only bad game I've seen Ibu have was ironically Brighton at home, but to be fair, quite a lot of a sizable crap that day, so he wasn't the only one. So, and then the only thing I'd say midfield as you, Kev. Front three, I went Salah, Mane, Diaz. I think Diaz, because he didn't really come on against Inter. Which makes you think that. My thought with Bobby is he going to be used as an impact sub for the next 2 games, and then you give him...
Well, he has the international break then, see? We got
Forest, and then we break.
Yeah. Forest, then we break. So I thought Forest might be one to give him a run out.
One thing I'll say, if Diaz... Do we need to start seeing a bit more in product with Diaz? I mean, we're seeing the lovely touches around the box. We're seeing him running at fullbacks. His link-up play is really good, but we need to start seeing a bit more in product from him. I think the chance he missed in the week was a horrific chance. You know, he has to score that one.
I think people said the same when Luis Suarez signed. I think he got like 4 goals in that January. I think people were having the same thing. Oh, where's the end product? And then, like, he's... I mean, definitely,
if he wants to be a regular Liverpool front three, next level player, he's got to add the numbers to his game. Yeah. I think he's got the capability to do it. With that, and I've seen some of the comments going, "It's coming, geez." Yeah, but he's played nearly 10 games and scored 1 goal and got 1 assist. You know,
I'm not digging the guy out. What I'm saying is, you're playing for Liverpool, and we're challenging on 4 fronts to try to win 4 competitions.
Yeah,
we need wins, and I don't give a flying fiddlers who scores the goals. But for his mental strength in his thinking that I need to break into the side, you have to be contributing more than runs. If you're playing in the front three, you have to be scoring goals, or at least threatening.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the moment with Jota's on a particularly poor run. I think he's 6 games without a goal. I think Salah's 3. 3's not a poor run, but
by his standards, he is. Yeah,
by his standards, yeah. I mean, that's probably, you compare Salah by his standards, by no striker standards, you're going, that's not really a worry. I also want to see Mane in the 9 again, because I think Mane's form as a 9 has been really good.
I think if he signs a new deal, I think that's the position he's going to be playing, and I think it could be Bobby that could be the one that leaves, because he's picking up a few hamstring injuries this year. And I don't know whether or not that could be a sign that his body is breaking down in this system, and maybe it needs to move on.
Look, for me, in the ideal world, you'd extend Salah and Mane, and you tell Bobby you can run your contract. You can run your contract out, and then you can go where you can basically go back to Brazil, go to Italy. I mean, it'd be great in Italy or Spain. He'd do really well there, but let him just go that way, and he'd be the squad option, which then gives Jota and Diaz another season with him as a backup to step in for like Inter Milan games where we probably could have done with him. and it gives Diaz the time to settle in. So
yeah, look, I think the goals will come for him, but
I think it's a fair.
We're at this point in the season now. This is the thing when you're coming in January. If you're going to be playing, we need to win games. The front three are goal scorers, and if the goals aren't going to come from there, you're scratching your balls looking for wins from the rest of the side, because it's rare that you're going to get goals from midfield, and it's a worldie that you're going to get from fullbacks. And yeah, you might get a set piece here and there, but
put it this way. We're all saying we want to be competing with City. We're all saying we want to be beating City to titles, and they thought City are that ruthless that they'll go to a player. You ain't scored in 3, out you go.
Yeah,
wait for your next chance.
Yeah,
and he did it with Tot. He did it with Ferran Torres. Score for 3.
Yeah,
a few games in a row. Missed a couple of games. Right, you're out. Come back in.
It's got to be that Torres ruthless. Went, I want to go, and then Pep was like, "All right, see you later. Goodbye."
You've got to be. That's how ruthless you've got to be now. It's really got to be end product.
Yeah, Pep's done the same with Sterling. He's done the same with him. Not
like Grealish hasn't done
well.
I've seen Grealish hasn't done it with City yet, and he probably hasn't got to the level we wanted. He still got dropped out a few times to wake him up to go. Well, okay, I'll put Bernardo Silva instead of you then. I think Liverpool have got to do that. We've got a deep enough squad, especially in the attacking areas, that we can rotate them. And he comes across that sort of character as that. Actually, I think he'd be one of those who thrive on that. That if he isn't getting picked, when he is getting picked, he'll really prove himself. So
I wouldn't mind him being a bit more selfish, because I've seen some of the goals he scored at Porto. When he gets in positions, he'll have a go, rather than, get in a position and look for a pass to put someone else in. He's capable. He's definitely capable of putting up good numbers. But maybe it's just, as new as settling in, and he just needs that bit of time. But I think once he puts his foot through a ball and he starts scoring a couple, it puts a bit of venom and anger into his shots rather than trying to place them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll come for him. It will, but
we'll see. Cool. Score prediction, then, Luke.
I think it's going to be a tight. I think it's going to be I think it'll be 2-0, but it won't be a comfortable 2-0. I think it will be
stealing my scores again. You should have gone first.
Hey, you nicked my other score earlier, so
okay. Kev, Luke's already nicked my score. What's your score?
I think 3-1.
3-1.
I think we win. So. I think we win 3-1. I think they will get something from a set piece.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be a lot more alive to their counters.
Yeah, I truly believe 2-0, but I can't go the same. So, I'll be bullshit. I'll say 3-0. Although I do think it'd be 2, but I'll say 3-0.
I don't give a shit. I'll take any 3 points.
I'll go Salah, Diaz, and Keita. Why not? Quite a few got Diaz first goal scorer. Diaz hat trick. I think you woke
Diaz a couple of goals.
Wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind.
Diaz to score everything.
Be delighted. I think Bobby comes back with a goal.
That'd be nice. I mean, to be fair, Bobby's goal to minutes ratio is actually quite high this season.
Yeah.
It's just not been on the pitch enough.
Yeah. I think Mo gets a brace. He's been threatening it for the last few games. Between hitting woodwork, he's getting in great positions. It's a case of whether Brighton's back 5 if he gets the space.
Cool. Right. Anything to add, Kev, before we go?
No, all good. It's been a good show. Really enjoyed it. The link for Féileacáin is in the description. You guys all know about it by now. If you click on the link, share it around your socials. Next week, obviously, Callum's going to be in. We're going to be talking about UFC, but Formula 1 season is going to be starting. There's testing going on in Bahrain at the minute with some really, really interesting designs in the cars, especially.
Come on. It's
shut up.
It's Formula 1.
Especially Mercedes. Mercedes have come out with this new design that if they're allowed to race with it, it'll give them a second a lap faster than anything else that's on the grid at the minute. Did we do Everton bonkers ass?
We did.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
Do we know? Oh, do we not? Oh, sorry. Should we quickly do
Is
Everton?
what are they playing?
Quickly do Everton. Wolves 2-1.
I've said Wolves 2-1 as well.
Wolves 2-0.
2-0. There we go.
Everton
Everton will be in the bottom three by the end of the weekend. Really sorry to Rico, who is a resident Everton fan who's in the chat, who's actually very good, to be fair. Anyway,
what you call it started as well. The Drive to Survive series is on Netflix, as far as I know. Going to dig into that over the next few weeks and see what it's like. But the reports I'm seeing so far is really good. Tom Bullen, the Merc is going to have 6 wheels. Tom, if you Google the Renault from about, I think it was late 70s, it had 6 wheels. They did have a Formula 1 car with 6 wheels. It is the most freaky looking thing you've ever seen in your life. But if you look on YouTube for it, there are racing clips of that Renault with 6 wheels. It's definitely something you'll double take when you look at it. It's really unreal.
Brilliant.
It's fantastic, Chris.
Okay. Luke, anything else?
Shit. I forgot. One more thing. Ireland against England tomorrow in the Six Nations.
Oh, I don't watch that either.
France beat Wales tonight.
That works, so I won't be watching that.
Okay.
Ireland have to beat England to keep in the race.
Is that where England win by 3, just to wind you up?
If England win tomorrow, that's the championship over, and France win it by...
I think France might... Are France heading for a Grand Slam? Not too sure. They beat Wales, because my friend Jamie did a watch-along on Let's Talk Sport, so...
They did. Wales were unlucky as well. They had chances.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
What a shame.
Good. Luke, anything you'd like to add before we go?
No, not particularly. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Me and Callum will be doing a preview for UFC London on Monday on Let's Talk Sport, and we'll probably do one on the Sanderson show as well. So,
and we're doing one with us on Friday as well. So
yes.
So you should be full of the routine by the time you come to us.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Cool. The only thing for me is just to stay on brand. Liverpool women. I've got a game this weekend away to Charlton, and the way the fixture lists have worked out, the game that was rearranged for Christmas is Charlton at home, which is next weekend. So we've got back-to-back against Charlton, which is interesting. Charlton are 5th in the league, so Liverpool probably need the win to keep the pressure on, because second in the league, Bristol have got Watford, who are crap. That's the technicals of it. They're just not very good. So 6 games to go, 7 points clear. The 4 wins would do it. 4 wins would guarantee it. 3 might be enough. So fingers crossed. Got Jazz Matthews back from injury, which is a big plus. Missy Bowe will be back from injuries. The 2 big blows were Charlotte Wardler went off with quite a nasty looking injury. We're still waiting to hear from her. And unfortunately, Leanne Robe, who's been probably one of our best centre-backs, is out now for 4 to 6 weeks. Unfortunately, she's picked up a knee injury in the previous game. So fingers crossed. But the only good thing for Liverpool is they have a lot of depth at centre-back, which does help. So fingers crossed, I'm going to go for a 3-1 Liverpool away at Charlton, which hopefully means we'll keep our 7-point gap.
Is that on the YouTube channel?
It's not on the YouTube channel. It is on the FA Player. It's their feature game this week. So if you want to watch the game, just download the FA Player. It's free, and you get to watch the game on YouTube for free. On the app for free, sorry. So,
I'll take anything that's for free.
So there you go.
Everything's too
watch that.
Nowadays.
You can
all
watch
our content here is free. We love
there you go. So that's also on as well. So fingers crossed. And after that, it's 2 home games. So we should be able to go to the home games again, which is grand. So good. Right, on that happy note, we'll let you all go. Liverpool are going to beat Brighton, fingers crossed. The women are going to beat Charlton, fingers crossed.
And Palace are going to be City.
Palace are going to do City. Everton are going to be a bottom 3. And we're all going to be happy. And Mo Salah signs his contract in the summer. There we go. Everyone's happy. Until then, see you next Friday.
Good night.
Bye.